What up? What up? Hope you're well, my friends. We're back live again. And the topic of this video is the best business ideas here in Africa. Well, there's so many. They're too many to even count. Where do I even start? Okay, give me 1 second. Just, yeah, 1 second. All right. All right. Almost every idea is the best. The thing about Africa is this. By the way, I'm recording this in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And I know that a lot of people are scared to invest in this market for, various reasons. It makes sense. Makes sense. Tanzania is not an easy market to tap into. This is why a lot of people, when they come from the West, they go to Kenya, and it makes sense because Kenya is easy. Excuse me. I'm drinking a lot of juice because Kenya speaks English, and I would say every single country that I've been to so far, starting from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, Kenya, their business ideas to start. I think the best one, in my opinion, personal opinion, okay, your ideas could be different. The best idea is the one that you are skilled in, the one that you have the most experience in, wherever you're coming from. So let us say you were living in the United States or the UK for a long time, and you were into logistics, or maybe you were into the furniture business, or you were into healthcare, or you were into pretty much anything. Name whatever, because most immigrants, I've noticed, most African immigrants, they're into healthcare, so they're like nurses or whatever. The best strategy I would give you is to use ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT how you can solve problems here in Africa. That's the best strategy. Because pretty much everything is the best. I already found really, really good business ideas, but it starts with you coming over here, though. It starts with you coming over here. And then when you do come over here, don't try and compete with the local, businesses. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Because somebody that's been in business for, let's say, 10 years, unless you come in with more money and better customer service, you might win, but that's pretty rare. That's pretty rare. Because the person that is running the show locally will try and, trying to sabotage you. Not in a bad way, because it's just competition. I'm not saying business owners here, that are local are bad. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they're competitive. If they see you and you don't have any experience at this market trying to act like Mr. Big Shot or, the shit, they're going to try and compete with you too. But they know better supplies. And also, the other thing that happens in Africa is tribalism. That's something we don't talk about often, So instead of them giving you the contract or giving you a shot at something, the contract or that shot might go to somebody that's related to them. It is what it is. It's politics. What can we do? But we don't complain. All you got to do is just be the best at it. Okay? Just be the best. And the other thing is that stop talking about politics when you come over here. No one cares. We don't care. Just bring your money and bring your expertise. That's what we need in Africa. We don't need you to be yapping and asking questions about, who's ruling and why. No, stop asking questions. Come over here with an open mind and then pay your taxes. Because at the end of the day, if you're a good person, you come over here, you're legit, you're genuine, and then you're looking to pay your taxes, people are going to leave you alone. And people will know, even your competition will know who you are. Because people talk in Africa. That's one thing I learned. People talk in Africa. So that means if you're not a stand-up person, word is going to go around that you're not a stand-up person. Just be a stand-up person, and people will just do business with you. Because generally speaking, people, they still want to do, they still want to live in peace. They still want to make money too. Everybody wants to, feed their families, pay their kids' school fees. You know what I'm saying? The basics. That's what everybody wants to do. Nobody wants to be out here like fighting all the time. No. So don't bring any bad vibes about, anything. Only good vibes only. That's what people like. So what I'm saying is this. When it comes to the best business ideas here in Africa, come here first. And then the first question you need to ask yourself when you land in Africa, it doesn't matter which country it is, it could be Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Kenya, Botswana, Namibia. First question you got to ask yourself is, what am I an expert at? What do I have the most skills at? And what kind of problems can I help to solve that are existing? And then also, how much money are people willing to pay for me to solve this problem? My best advice to you guys when you're coming to Africa to start a business is serve the wealthy, prioritize serving the wealthy, or if you're going to serve the people that are not, in the 1%, the wealthy, and you're going to serve, the regular people, serve the regular people things that they absolutely need, the essentials. So, for example, everybody wants to, well, not everybody, I'm saying, like, everybody takes a shower, everybody bathes, okay? Everybody washes themselves. So if you come in with a new brand of soap that is priced at the same level as everybody else brands, right? But it's better quality, it's high end, it smells good, and you know how to market it, especially on social media and online, you don't need that much. You don't need that many customers like that. You just need 1,000 loyal customers. And what I like about Africa, let me tell you what I love so much about Africa. And I noticed this specifically in Zimbabwe and in Zambia, because the populations in those two countries are relatively small enough for you to make a big impact. This is why I say I love investing in a country like Zimbabwe and Zambia. Even though I love Tanzania, I love investing in Tanzania as well. But when it comes to like launching a new product, you want to get into a market that is not too big, not too small. So you test out whatever you got to test out in there first. And then if it works in there, okay, I can expand this out now. So what I like about Zambia and Zimbabwe is those two markets are very similar. They're not too big, not too small. And then all you got to do is talk to the right, distributors. So let me use the example of Zimbabwe, for example. In Zimbabwe, we have a chain of grocery stores. We have Spar. We have, what else? They're a bunch. I'm forgetting now. Let's just use Pick n Pay. That's it, Pick n Pay. Pick n Pay is a South African brand, I believe. So you can literally go to the branch manager of Pick and Pay. You can walk up to them, and these guys are accessible. They're not like in the States where you don't even know who the branch manager is for Kroger or Publix. You don't know any of that. The whole system is so efficient. It is designed and automated so efficiently that you can't even talk to the branch manager. And if you talk to the branch manager about, you're putting your product into the store, they're gonna ghost you because there's too much competition. There's too much variety in the stores. But what I like about a market like Zimbabwe, like I said, you can come there, you go to the branch manager of Pick and Pay or Spar, and then ask for information on how to get your product on the shelves. Yeah, it might take you a couple of weeks to get your brand on the shelves and a bunch of headaches. When it comes to begging people, that's the other thing, is like Africans, they love to be begged. So you just do what you got to do. But once you're in, you're so in. Oh my goodness, you're so in. You're so in. Because the competition is almost non-existent and the population is big enough to support it. So let's use the soap brand or the ladies ladies senator. Let's say diapers. Let me use diapers. Kids diapers. That's a good one. So instead of you, well, actually, this is a good idea. But this is a good idea. Africans are having a lot of babies. So if you launch a brand new line of diapers that is, locally produced, very eco-friendly, and that is of good quality, you can sell it in the stores and it'll move. And it's very easy for you to start branding it on Instagram and Facebook. And running Instagram and Facebook ads in a country as small as Zimbabwe is very cheap. You can completely dominate the entire country with Facebook ads and Instagram ads for almost nothing. Promoting these diapers for kids. Running ads all day long. Boom, boom, boom. Because just because it's Africa does not mean there are no people with smartphones. People got smartphones now. There's a middle class there. It's not big, but there's a middle class big enough. And people are having babies. And you can price those diapers slightly below the imported ones. And producing these diapers, it doesn't cost very much. All you need is an equipment from China. You see, I'm giving you all the game right now. You go to China, go to Guangzhou, and you say you want to buy a machine that can help me put together diapers. And you can crank out 100 diapers, 100 diapers a day or something like that with the machine. Whatever, little operation, the size of my office. My office is not very big, right? You put your little machine over there, one corner. The other machine is for packaging, like a little warehouse. You build a mini warehouse over there in Zimbabwe and just cranking out a limited amount of diapers. Maybe you start with 100, post up all of them in one store. Then you're just running ads promoting diapers, diapers, diapers. And before you know it, they're moving. And you got very limited competition over there. And this is what the Chinese are doing. You have to set up a business that caters to the population that is growing, a younger population, and also things that people absolutely need. Don't be bringing in, like, if you're from the United States, if you're in the UK, business ideas that that are just like so you can feel good. Have you ever seen this? There are a lot of people that get into business just so they can feel good. Don't do that. Don't do that. Get into a business where you're serving the people and they respect you. Here in Tanzania, I know a lady that used to be a supermodel that created her own brand of lady pads, sanitary pads for the ladies. And she's doing very well. Every store that I go to here in Dar es Salaam, her brand is right there. And she's moving units. And I'm pretty sure all she did was go to China, found a supplier, slapped her logo on there, and she used Instagram to promote it. And before you know it, everybody's like, all the ladies are supporting her. Good for her. Good for her. So I'm telling you, ladies, too, if you're ready to invest in something like that, you absolutely can. And you can completely dominate. There's also another lady called Zari. Yeah, Zari. Zari from Uganda. She's really famous over here in Tanzania and Uganda and in South Africa. She has a partnership with diaper brand here in Tanzania. But I'm pretty sure if she had the time and energy, she could do it herself, which is what I'm saying. If you have the time and the energy, you can corner that market too if you wanted to in a different country, like Zambia or Zimbabwe or Botswana. It won't cost you very much. Let's do the math real quick. Let us say you choose to get into this kind of business. You would have to fly to Guangzhou, maybe not even fly to China. You might not even have to do that. You might have to just come to Dar es Salaam, because Dar es Salaam now has a logistics center. Please go watch the videos that are being put out of all the malls that are being built here in Tanzania and Dar es Salaam, the bunch of logistics centers over here in Dar es Salaam. Please go watch that stuff. What the Chinese are doing is they don't want too many Africans flooding China. Oh my God. Us Africans, once somebody discovers gold, everybody is in there. Everybody's in there, bro. Everybody's flooding that thing, you know? So that's what's happening in China. There are too many Africans over there in Guangzhou. And now the Chinese are getting nervous. Rightfully so. Because what happens with us Africans, like once we show up, like we take over the game. Just like how the Ghanaians have taken over the Bronx. We completely shut things down. We take over, G. So the Chinese don't want that because they learn from the Americans. If you have too many Africans, those guys are not gonna want to leave because then they start having their fufu and everything. And the Chinese don't like fufu. They hate that shit. They'd rather eat their own food. They import everything themselves. The Chinese, this is why the Chinese build their own Chinatowns, by the way. So they can avoid eating your fufu. I love fufu, by the way. This is no disrespect to fufu eaters. No disrespect. I love fufu. I love all kinds of food. I love Ethiopian food. You name it, I love it. So the Chinese know this, that you guys are going to flood over there. So they've built a logistics center over here in Dar es Salaam, whereby you can show up, you meet a bunch of Chinese suppliers and retailers, wholesalers, sorry, no retail, wholesalers, and you can place your orders here in Dar es Salaam Logistics Center. So let's say you need a machine to produce diapers. You go to the Dar es Salaam Logistics Center and say, it's called Ubungo Logistics Center. You go over there and say, I'm looking for somebody that can give me a machine that can produce diapers, 100 diapers a day. Can you give me that in China? And somebody's going to say, yes, sir. Yes, boss. Then you put up your money. So instead of flying all the way there, that saves you a lot of money. You pay the Chinese five grand or 10 grand, whatever it is for that machine. And then they deliver. These guys are efficient now. These guys are very efficient. They'll deliver it within a couple of days, probably. Maybe a week. Let's give it a week because it's got to come by boat, right? They'll deliver it over here at the port over here in Dar es Salaam. You pick it up. You drive it down to your warehouse in Lusaka, Harare, Windhoek, Gaborone. You set up shop over there. You start cranking out diapers. Then you're putting up those diapers into the store. You're in business. Huh? Making money off of kids' crap. I love that. Thank goodness for kids' crap. The guys that are making money off of kids' crap, guys. Beautiful. It's beautiful. But you can't make money off of kids' poop anymore in America because people are not having babies. But in Africa, people are having babies, is what I'm saying. So that's a good business idea to get into, especially for my ladies out there, for the ladies. If you like kids, if you like babies, that's a business you should get into. Just an example. For the fellas, there's so many cool things you can get into. So many cool things. I talked about the furniture business. Maybe let me talk about something else. What's a good example? Something that is very hard to replicate. Think about something that works in Europe and the US, but is much needed here. And it's much needed here in Africa. It'll probably work if it's needed here, but you got to do it in the right way that the local people cannot copy. For example, here's a good one. This is a perfect one. A lot of Black Americans are doing this in Kenya, which is catering to the Black Americans that are repatriating, catering to Black Americans that are trying to come to Africa to live. Because the cost of living in the United States is crushing. Cost of living in Europe is crushing. So maybe that could be something you get into. So you're creating a full service operation where you're a consultant. You're offering advice, kind of like what Austin Holloman does. If you guys know who Austin is in Kenya, he's doing that. He's making a good living doing that. And he knows how to do it the right way, though. If you try and copy him, maybe you might be successful, maybe you might not be, who knows? But I'm just using that as an example of a good idea that you can do that somebody locally cannot compete. Because you already know the standards of these people. And then on top of that, what I love about, what a lot of people are doing now is they are not only offering advisory services, it's happening here also in Tanzania. There's a lady, I'm going to link up with her soon. I'll probably do an interview with her. She is helping Curious in Tanzania. That's it. She's helping people come to Tanzania. But she's been doing it for a minute now, for a long time. So she knows the ins and outs and all this stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? So she's just catering to this demand of people that are looking to come to Tanzania. Okay? And you can expand that operation into events because people love to have a good time in Africa. My goodness. Sheesh. People love a good time. People love a good time. So you can get into events. You can get into mostly community stuff. What happens is when people come from the West, I've noticed they're very lonely. Because the West is very lonely, by the way. All people do is work, work, work. There's no life over there. So when they come over here, they want to be around other like-minded people because it's therapeutic. It's healthy. It's healthy. When you're surrounded by people, it's very healthy. I'm surrounded by people all day long, and I love it. It's very healthy for me. So they want that. So you can offer that as well as a service. Then something can come out of that too. The whole thing can grow from there. So that's an example of something you can do that is considered a best business idea, if you will. There's so many more, but it depends on your expertise. Like I said, the two people that I just talked about, the gentleman in Kenya, the lady over here in Tanzania, I'm talking about these because these are people that have been doing it for a minute. So they have all the experience. But for somebody like you who doesn't have that level of experience just yet, you might have you might have been a nurse for 10, 15 years. There's certain things that you can bring to this market, such as within the healthcare, you could offer, you know, advisory services or equipment or training programs. That's another option. But when you're getting into the healthcare field, you got to deal with the government now because it's really regulated. You can't just be like a nurse in the UK, come to let's say Tanzania and start thinking you can operate without a license and stuff. Nah, you got to do things the right way. You got to get registered with the right agencies. Make sure you got the proper paperwork. And it's not too difficult, especially if you have been exposed to the NHS. I'm going to use the NHS as an example. It's not too difficult for you to tap in to the healthcare industry here in Tanzania, where you're offering training programs to different hospitals. That's an option too. And then maybe you're offering advisory services on best practices for, local students, local nurses and doctors for what else is out there in the UK. Because a lot of Africans are very curious to know how they can tap into the NHS. So if you worked at the NHS for a long time, you can host these networking events where you're charging something simple like $10. $10 an event, get all these nurses and doctors to attend, and then you're giving them real information about the harsh realities of the NHS, that the NHS is collapsing or whatever. Because I know the NHS is dead, it's collapsing. So that they're not busy wasting their time, energy, and attention onto trying to go to the UK and become slaves over there. So for the small amount of $10, 10 pounds, or whatever, you get to save them the headache of going to get exploited in the UK. I know if I was a doctor over here in Tanzania and I heard that, like, I saw you talking about, hey, you work for the NHS for 10 years, 15 years, and are you thinking about going to the UK? Let me keep it real with you. The UK is dead. Come to my event and I'll tell you exactly why the UK is dead. But there's this other option. I'm telling you, they will listen. They will listen. They will absolutely listen. And what I love about that is that you get to network with very bright minds. Africa's got so many bright people that they all think that they need to leave Africa. No, they don't. They don't need to leave Africa. They can stay right here. It takes somebody that is more experienced. If you're a 25-year-old nurse or 30-year-old doctor here in Africa, And you, as a 40-year-old nurse or doctor that has been exposed to a more advanced healthcare system, you have more experience than this 30-year-old doctor based in Africa. They're willing to, Africans love to pay for education, by the way. They love it. They love education, especially the Zimbabweans. Anything that's got to do with education, they're paying for it. They're obsessed with learning. This is why the Zimbabweans are constantly like hated everywhere, because they're constantly learning new stuff. They're geniuses over there. Every time I go to Zimbabwe, I'm like, man, these people are geniuses. But they don't know that they're geniuses, you see? But it's up to you to go over there, or to come here to Africa rather, and pour into these people. We need more experienced minds to come to Africa, because you have to remember something. The population of Africa is relatively young compared to the US and the UK. The average age in the UK is about 35, 34. The average age in the States, same thing. And both countries, the US and the UK, these are aging populations, guys. These people are old as F. They're old as fuck. But the Africans are young. Almost everybody I interact with on a daily day, it's like very young, they're eager, they're vibrant, they're eager to learn. They're coming to me, asking me questions like, hey, like I'm the expert. I'm just like, hey, man, I'm humbled that you think I'm a genius, whatever. I'm humbled, but you know what I'm trying to say? So we need more bright minds like you guys to come to Africa and pour into these minds, because you have the experience. So that's the other thing. It's like being anything to do with advisory services, consulting, giving game. We need the game, because we don't need more and more Africans going over there to the West to do what? Because they don't need it anyway. The US is full, guys. The UK is jam-packed. They don't want you over there. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it all the way real. They're full. They have enough. That's why they close their borders. There was one time, I remember, this is so funny. Maybe like 10 years ago, everybody and anybody from New York, because I used to live in New York for 10 years, everybody from New York started to go down to Atlanta looking for opportunity, until the people over there in Atlanta that were born there, the natives of Atlanta, they just started putting out like warnings. Excuse me. They started putting out like warnings and what they do, and messages on social media saying, "Hey, please, all the people from New York, Boston, Philly, please don't come to Atlanta. Atlanta is full right now. We don't need you here anymore. We're full. Please stay there." That's what Trump is doing to you guys. He tried to tell you they're full, and he's not wrong. America is full. So we need more of you bright minds that are over there in the West. Come to Africa. There's plenty of opportunity over here. But it starts with you taking a chance. I recently did an interview with this couple, amazing couple that I went to school with 24 years ago. These guys are cool, man. And they couldn't believe how amazing Africa was. They couldn't believe it. They're like, what? Is this how cool Africa is? We didn't know. I'm like, yeah. I've been trying to tell you this for 24 years. I hope you guys got some value from this video. If you're ready to work with the best, this means that I will help you set up your operations. You need marketing services? I got you. You need a business plan? I got you. First of all, business plans are crap. I'm going to talk about that in fact, let me write this down. Business plans are crap. Crap. So I don't forget. Okay, good. Business plans are crap is the next topic of discussion. But I can help you with a lot. Execution is it's all about execution right now. No one cares about a business plan, okay? It's all about, can you deliver? That's what people care about. If you're ready to work with the best, I'll put a link somewhere around this video, schedule time, and this will be a paid consultation. Please do not waste my time. It's all about serious people only. Bless.